Good morning. Always testing. Today is September 23rd and the time is 9:01. And we'll go ahead and start the Board of County Commissioners meeting. First, we have agenda review. Are there any changes to the agenda?
I have none.
All right, given none, we'll ask Attorney Messenger to ask us about conflicts of interest.
Does any member of the board have a conflict of interest with respect to any item on the agenda this morning?
I have none.
I have no conflicts.
I have no conflicts.
Seeing none,
Next, we have opportunity for public or press comment. I do want to just say briefly that our thoughts are with Mrs. Kirk after the shooting of her husband, and our thoughts with her and her children. Any public or press comment?
No
Anyone
one has
online?
raised their hand, Commissioner Hollingsworth.
County Manager Rears, was that you?
It was, yes.
We'll try to minimize your speaking today.
Looking a little better, Ray, a little better than yesterday.
Actually, we do have a hand up. Kathleen Balfour raised her hand.
All right, Kathleen, hi.
Hi, Sandy. Sorry.
Okay.
That was very nice and sincere of you to start that way today. Bless you, my dear. I appreciate that so much. What a blessing you are. Thanks. That's it.
Thank you. Any others? All right. Next, we have the consent agenda with 5 items on it. Are there any that either commissioner would like to take off the consent agenda for discussion?
No.
Nope.
All right, I'm ready for a motion.
I move that we adopt the consent agenda containing the clerk and recorder August 2025 end of month financial report, the treasurer's report for August 2025, resolution 25-106, authorizing the approval of the Chapter 11 plan relative to Purdue Pharma LP and the execution of the subdivision participation and release form, resolution 25-113, authorizing the approval of the secondary manufacturers settlements and the execution of the secondary manufacturers combined subdivision participation and release form. And finally, the approval of minutes for August 26, 2025 from the Board of County Commissioners meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The consent agenda is approved 3-0. Next, we have new hire introductions. Is Shanda online? Is she? All right.
So unfortunately, Shanda is ill as well. But if you could just ask if anyone has a employee for introductions, I think that probably would be the recommended course here.
I think we just may. I see some new faces in the room. Who would like to go first? Under Sheriff Demo.
Division Chief Academy introducing one of his hires for Detentions Division.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Deputy Jordan Hankfus. He joined our team about a month ago. He's local to Colorado. He's got 2 boys, family man, and former Army. Currently.
Good. Welcome.
Welcome. Do you want to tell us anything more about you or why you chose Gilpin?
Well, one of my buddies who works up here and he works for the sheriff's office. We talked it up earlier and talking to it's really nice as you see in everyone's rooms.
Thanks to your friend. Thanks for joining us.
Deputy Ramirez, who's doing really well on our patrol division.
Oh, okay, great. Well, that's the best recruitment, isn't it?
It is.
From inside. There we go.
So we have individuals within our department recruiting for us, as well as people reading the online ad. So
That's probably the best endorsement.
Great.
Anything else you want to share? Thank you. Yeah.
thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, sir.
New hires.
Next, we have Director Jamie Boyle with 2 new hires.
Good morning, Commissioners. I am very pleased to introduce our 2 new hires. Since Paul has the microphone, he'll go first. Paul is our new permit technician and office assistant. He is coming to us from our motor vehicle department.
He literally is moving up.
Upstairs.
Pleasure to see all y'all again. My accent still as bad as always, so apologize about that. Absolute pleasure to be on the second floor now and closer to y'all, so I'm sure I'll be seeing you on a regular basis.
And next up is Jack Zeman. He's our new planner, and he's coming to us from his former employer, the City of Boulder.
Hello again. I think this is the 3rd time we've met, but now formally. But yes, I spent the last 2 years working at Boulder, graduated from CU, urban planning and design. So I'm very excited. This is my 3rd week now. So very excited to work with all of you. I'm sure we'll see each other a lot.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you. We do tend to have a lot of questions for community development staff. Next on our agenda, we have Melanie Blyer, and she is presenting proclamation. Hello.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I have a proclamation recognizing September 15 to October 15 as Hispanic Heritage Month in Gilpin County. So I'll read it. Whereas the contributions of Hispanic and Latinx communities have played a vital role in shaping the culture, economic growth, heritage, and diversity of the United States, Colorado, and Gilpin County. And whereas Hispanic Heritage Month serves to honor the histories, cultures, and achievements of Hispanic and Latinx Americans, recognizing the significance of their presence and influence in our communities. And whereas the period from September 15 to October 15 includes national recognition of Hispanic Heritage Month, aligning with the independence anniversaries of several Latin American countries. And whereas embracing and celebrating cultural diversity enhances our community, supports inclusion, strengthens civic engagement, and fosters respect among all residents. And whereas Gilpin County is committed to upholding values of equity, inclusion, mutual respect, and the recognition that individuality strengthens our collective identity.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Gilpin County, Colorado hereby proclaims September 15th through October 15th, 2025 as Hispanic Heritage Month in Gilpin County, and be it further be resolved that we encourage all county departments, businesses, organizations, and residents to join in celebrating this month by hosting or attending events, educational programs, sharing stories, honoring cultural contributions, and providing opportunities for greater understanding and unity. Thank you. Now we will skip ahead since we have a hearing at 9:30. It's a little early. Next, we have is Sheriff Armstrong here? No, Under Sheriff Demo. This is a resolution to cancel and repeal the fire restrictions. Hello again.
Morning again, commissioners. So every week, the sheriff's office participates in a Northern Colorado fire call. And 2 weeks ago at the fire call, we saw a reduction in the extreme conditions that would inherently cause a wildland fire. So with the reduction of those conditions, it was recommended by the Northern Colorado Fire Group that we come out of fire restrictions as one complete partnership. So Gilpin, Clear Creek, Boulder, and the U.S. Forest Service surrounding us have all come out of fire restrictions.
Are you sure today's a good day to do that?
Considering I came to work with an umbrella, I think it's fair for today at least.
Does anyone have any questions for Under Sheriff Demo?
No.
Right? And I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve resolution 25112. Resolution canceling and repealing temporary stage 1 fire restrictions in Gilpin County. Kevin Armstrong, Sheriff, and Greg Demo, Under Sheriff.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, if anyone is interested in the science of your decision, here it is.
We worked very hard this year, Commissioner, with our partners to provide the science and data on all the decisions and to be transparent where these restrictions are coming from. So and I've learned quite a bit this year on what red flag is and stage 1, stage 2, and extremes. So
Yeah, I think we had another
we're
lucky,
dialing it in.
had another lucky fire season here in Gilpin.
I want to knock on your desk here.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, which happens to be wood, but
Right.
all right.
Well, thank you.
Anything else on that
Commissioner.
item?
Thanks, sir.
All right. Thanks for your work.
Thank you.
Neat report.
Appreciate it.
Okay, the next thing on our agenda then is the proposed draft budget. And presenting that is Manager Rears and
So
Lorna Plamonda and Lindsay Dunton.
So our finance team is getting set up at the table. I'm going to go over the PowerPoint presentation as they are coming to the table. Obviously, this could not be accomplished without the hard work of the finance team. So I definitely appreciate Lorna and Lindsay and their hard work to get to this point. It's definitely was more challenging this year to prepare the budget than previous years. So let me know if you can see that.
Oh, we
Can
can
you-
see it.
Okay, great. So this is the opportunity where staff has completed the draft budget and our formal handoff to the Board of County Commissioners. One of your primary responsibilities is to approve a annual budget. So this is the formal handoff to the board with the draft budget moving forward. Here's the areas we're going to cover, kind of introduction, the budget process, revenue expenditures, lodging tax, ending fund balance and reserves, and any questions you may have, of course. So the budget is really a comprehensive financial plan that needs to really align with the mission and values of the organization. And this presentation is obviously very high level, but the budget will be handed off directly to you afterwards, as well as available to the public as well. A reminder of our mission and values that kind of guides us through the process as we provide responsive services to protect, maintain, and enhance our unique community, historic, and cultural heritage and our mountain environment. Values include collaborative, equitable, innovative, respectful, responsive, sustainable, and trustworthy. So the finance office and myself have met individually with each department head elected official since July, going through their budget line by line in areas of further discussion happened afterwards. Um, any significant change, there's a priority-based budgeting form like in previous years. That should definitely help the board review if they have more questions regarding any sort of change in the budget. As the draft budget was prepared, some items were included, some areas, some items were not included, but the board has the forms for everything requested, whether it made into the draft budget or not. Today is the day that we're presenting the draft budget to the board, and then final adoption is anticipated on December 15th. So the board has a few months to work through the draft budget. So the revenue side for 26, we're looking at just over 15 million, 15,067,000, which would amount to about 43.7% of the overall anticipated revenue. Intergovernmental, 7.8 million, approximately 23% of the revenue projected. Taxes, almost 6.7 million from taxes, property tax, lodging tax, and specific ownership tax for vehicle registration. Charges for services, just over 3 million, 3,023,000, or 8.8%. Interest, 1.2 million off our fund balances. Licensing and permitting, 337,650. So the total anticipated revenue for 2026 is $34,427,092.
I have a question, Ray.
Yeah.
Is this what we're looking at in the packets?
Not that specifically.
No?
But
Okay,
we have a whole pie chart of all the revenue.
okay.
With different departments.
All right, because it would be easier to take notes and, okay,
And
never,
get your-
okay.
So we can print this off for you, but we are handing you the budget at the table, is my understanding. I know I'm not
Yeah,
there.
okay.
Apologize for that. So, and we obviously have a number of work sessions to work through the draft budget moving forward. As the board's well aware, our primary source of revenue is our gaming revenue. So this year we received $16,201,381, a decrease from the year before of 2.6%. Given macro forces and concerns in the economy, the staff continued to elect to be very conservative with revenue projections. So in the draft budget, we're looking at a decrease from last year or this year's revenue by 7.5%. So the revenue projection for 2026 is $15,067,284. And it's not advancing. Oop, there we go. I think it skipped a slide. Let me go back. Expenditures, total expenditures from all the various departments and divisions, 39,330,
Excuse me,
373.
Manager Rears.
Mhm.
Lindsay said that there was a slide that was skipped.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Going.
Thank you.
thank you. Okay. Appreciate that. Property tax and mill levy summary, so you can see where the property tax, the revenue and the where the revenue comes from for specific accounts: general fund, public works fund, library fund, human services fund, and solid waste fund. And then I'll call out the specific area for the temporary tax credit, Tabor, where the county is not debruced for the property tax, and so the projected refund, which would be a reduction in tax collected of 0.483 or a total of $267,038 that would be refunded to the taxpayers in 2026. Total property tax revenue is the 5.6 million. Grant revenue, this is a summary of all the various grant revenue projected for 2026. The total of that is 2.2 million, just over that. The largest one is the DOLA Gaming Impact Fund of 655,000. That offsets the impacts of gaming in the community. Total expenditures, this is a breakout of all the departments in the county and the various expenses associated with each one. The total anticipated expenditures are $39,373,238. And then a breakout of the largest departments, the sheriff's office and their divisions, dispatch, emergency management, victim services, detentions, and patrol. That equates to 29% of the total expenditures estimated, or $11,453,273. The second largest department in the county is Public Works, Solid Waste, and their expenditures are projected to be $5,155,842. Capital projects, expanded amounts for 2025 have been reallocated for 2026, so just over $2 million. Proposed new capitals for capital projects for 2026 are $831,807. So the total capital projects for anticipated for next year are $3,036,442. Key projects for 2026 that the board's well aware is the completion of the annex, replace the plumbing, recirculation lines in the community center and the Justice Center, replace circulation pumps and chemical doors in the pool, and then Rudolph Ranch improvements, which we'll get into greater detail when we have the opportunity to meet on that.
I have a question, Ray.
Of course.
So when you're doing these, are you adding in for tariffs?
So
I read that our last policy matters, they just sent us a financial thing. It said tariffs will be 21% this year.
So we're not specifically adding in for tariffs, but we are putting in a projection that costs will increase. As you know, we are trying to keep track of tariffs now, and so we can quantify the amount of tariffs that we're paying. But specifically for tariffs, no, but we are factoring in the overall cost increases that are projected for next year, which would include some estimate for tariffs.
Thank you.
Capital equipment, sheriff's office, there would be the drug scanner and taser replacements of just over 89,000. IT, a server firewall, and improvements to the microphones in the commissioner's chambers of 34,000. Facilities, hot melt asphalt equipment, skid steer, and snow blower of 132,000. Public Works, two-way radios, load trailers, skid steer, loader truck, vehicle tracking software, and a dump truck, totaling 750,000, just over that. Solid Waste would receive a roll-off container. Vehicle replacements were reduced from previous years, and so we're looking at 4 vehicles to be replaced, 3 in the sheriff's office and 1 in the facilities office, for a total of 332,500 estimated. Lodging tax, as you know, the board has referred a ballot measure for the voters in November to increase the lodging tax from 2 to 6 for an additional 4%. The intended purpose of the 4%, if approved by the voters, would support public infrastructure maintenance and improvements, housing and childcare for tourism-related workforce, including seasonal workers and for other workers in the community. So in the budget, you're going to see that there's only one increase in FTE, and that one increase in FTE is for a lube maintenance technician in Public Works that would be supported through the lodging tax if approved by the voters to support public infrastructure and maintenance of our equipment. It's identified as a need in the Public Works, and that is the increase in staffing proposed for 2026. And of course, this is subject to voter approval. So if the voters do not approve that in November, then that proposal would go away. Ending fund balance. So the estimated fund balance in the county this year is $28,376,804, with the projected expenses and revenue for 2026. And we budget very conservatively, so we like to make sure that we're under revenue projections and under expenses. But the projections at this point for 2026 would be $23,430,658. And the county is debt-free and has been debt-free for since 2022. So it's always important to highlight there's no debt service involved in any of these expenses incurred. The reserve balance is listed there. The 4 million for emergencies remain. The 2 million for the water rights acquisition remain. And then the 3 months of operating assigned specifically to continue operations if there was a downturn is also held back as well. And that's kind of the highlight. I will actually defer to Lorna and Lindsay about the specifics on the schedule moving forward. I know there is a specific date on October 7th, where the board will have an opportunity to speak directly with department heads and elected officials in kind of a rapid pace so they can raise any specific questions or concerns. And then the board will also have the opportunity to ask any questions they have regarding the budget or any expenses. And then we have a number of work sessions also scheduled that were scheduled quite a while ago. So I stand for any questions, but I will defer to Lorna if she wants to add anything that I didn't share.
Nope, the December 7th, and then there will be, those are 15 minutes long each. I'm sorry, October 7th, and those will be 15 minutes long, and those will be just the meetings with the different departments and then the scheduled work sessions. And then December 15th will be the adoption of the budget, the mill levies, and Gadsby 54 if necessary, and supplementals if we haven't gotten those to you sooner.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions at this time? Right. Thank you for the budgets that are laying there.
Binders.
We have
We
the,
are doing a lot of it in OpenGov, so you should also receive an invitation for OpenGov. And you're how to navigate OpenGov. So this is just a printed budget, and then you each get how to get into OpenGov too.
Thank you. Great.
thank you so much for your work. And of course, we'll look through it line by line like we always do.
Thank you. It looks really good.
Manager Rears, do you have anything else to add before our next item?
I didn't quite hear Lindsay, but I believe she made a reference to OpenGov and that it's going to be on this online platform. So it's going to be very transparent, any changes. And we've also really beefed up the OpenGov specific line items. So instead of these catch-all like professional services, and there might have been 10 items under that, now those have been clearly identified, and that should definitely help you and the public understand what's going on in the budget moving forward. So great work from the finance team to really try and be as transparent as possible with the budget.
Yes, thank you. I know that OpenGov is a great tool, and it also reduces our repeat questions to finance staff because we can read what's budgeted within a category and broken down. So thanks so much. Thanks for your work as well. We look forward to the work sessions. And now the time is 9:30. We do have a public hearing on our agenda. I believe presenting is our Community Development Director, Jamie Boyle. This is a public hearing for a Board of Adjustment I believe we can just sit as a Board of Adjustment.
We need to do a formal.
We need to recess.
Yeah, recess. I'll move that we recess the Board of County Commissioners meeting and convene as the Board of Adjustment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right, we are now sitting as the Board of Adjustment. The time is 9:31, and I'm opening this public hearing. And first, we will have presenting Community Development Director Boyle.
Commissioners, we are requesting a continuance on this item in order to ensure that proper noticing has been completed.
In a public hearing, we usually have the staff present, and then we have the involved petitioners present, and then we have public comment period. And then we have discussion amongst the commissioners with any questions with staff. And then we move to a motion. Do you recommend that we go ahead and open the public comment?
No, I think it's appropriate to, and I got a lot of feedback here. Appropriate to go ahead and move to continue now would be fine, and then open the public hearing when the item is noticed in the way that's more comfortable.
All right, County Attorney Messenger says that we can forego that for today if we are continuing. I do look for a motion to continue it with this date as mentioned on the agenda.
We move to continue. I move to continue the Board of Adjustment BOA 25-3 until October 28th, 2025.
I second.
And at 9:30 a.m. in this room?
At 9:30 a.m. in this room, yes.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks for showing up, and we will look for you then.
Thank you, Commissioners, and
Right.
thank you, Attorney Messenger.
It is now 9:33, and I'll close this hearing.
Okay. And I'll move that we adjourn as the Board of Adjustment and reconvene as Board of County Commissioners.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next on our agenda, we have Clerk and Recorder Sahari McCormick. This is a resolution approving designation of arbitrators for arbitration of property valuations and appeals. And Clerk and Recorder McCormick, County Attorney Messenger recommended that there be one change on the resolution.
Okay.
So there it is.
Okay. And I had made an additional change. Actually, that is on here. Kimberly has got it. Yeah, so I don't know, do they need to adjourn as the Board of Equalization now?
As the Board of County Commission, sorry. You should move to adjourn as the Board of County Commissioners, reconvene as the Board of Equalization. This is an interesting one because they're also approving a rate, but I think that rate is not, that the Board of Equalization is empowered to go ahead and approve that.
Yeah. Why be simple?
So I move to adjourn as the Board of County Commissioners and reset as the Board of Equalization or arbitration. Reset as the Board of County Commissioners and convene as the Board of
Equalization.
Which are we? Oh, Board of Equalization, sorry.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are now sitting as the Board of Equalization. Presenting to us is Clerk and Recorder Sahari McCormick.
Good morning, Commissioners and Board of Equalization. Here's the little backstory. Property owners, I don't know if I'm as loud as I sound. Property owners who protested their property values had their case heard on July 23rd by a hearing officer. The hearing officer's decisions on these values was approved by the Board of Equalization on August 5th. Those property owners then had 30 days to notify the clerk's office if they wanted to appeal that decision. They all had the option of appealing to the State Board of Assessment Appeals, District Court, or via binding arbitration. 2 of our protesters have requested binding arbitration. So per Colorado Statute 39.108.5, 2A, the taxpayer and the Board of Equalization shall select an arbitrator from the list within 30 days of the date of that list becoming available, which was September 15th. We will then have 60 days from the date the arbitrator was selected to hold the arbitration hearing, which will be November 22nd as the latest date. So today we need to approve the list of arbitrators that we've created for this. We have 2 on our list, and both are certified residential appraisers who value land as well as homes. And I made the note that the resolution in the packet had changed slightly. Now there's an additional change, which is fine. So we need to approve the list of arbitrators, and then we need to select an arbitrator for the 2 property owners who have appealed their decision. I did see that one of those property owners was online. I don't know if both are, and they're not here in the room. I also don't know if either one of the arbitrators are on the call. So I don't know if you have any questions.
We're going to pick one out of these 2, or we picking both of these?
Well, we have, I know Edward Dumpf is on the call. I don't know if let's see. Rebecca or Christopher Dumpf are on the call. I don't know if Edward is on the call. Yeah.
And he's one of the
Is,
landowners. property
yes, he's one of the landowners, the property owners. Okay.
I did see his name up.
They weren't sure they'd be able to attend.
Do the petitioners need to approve today at the same time as we do?
Well, you need to approve the list
Right.
today. And then we need to work to see which arbitrator we should use. Or I don't know if Mr. Dumpf has a preference.
Right. Would you like him to speak? Sorry.
If he'd like to speak, sure.
Sure.
Mr. Dumpf, do you have a preference?
Good morning. My name is Ed or Edward Dumpf. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. I couldn't tell from your Zoom catalog here whether I was online or not. Specific to your question, the 2 names that you provided on your list were reviewed, and it appears that, yes, they're certainly qualified to review and oversee the discussion that we're talking about on residential land. This would be R in your catalog, your land reports. The specific parcel that I'm talking about is listed as natural resources.
Hi, this is April Nielsen, the Gilpin County Assessor, and I would like to reassure you that the selected arbitrators are indeed qualified under Colorado law. Both individuals are state certified appraisers with extensive training and experience in valuation practices. Their certification demonstrates proficiency in market analysis, highest and best use considerations, and application of accepted appraisal methodologies. These skills are not limited to residential properties. They are the foundation of valuation across all property types, including natural resources. It's important to note that arbitration in property tax disputes does not require a specific natural resources certification. Rather, it requires professional appraiser expertise, impartial judgment, and adherence to statutory guidelines, all of which the selected arbitrators meet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. What do you need us to do next?
Well, we should approve the list of arbitrators. And then if Mr. Dump has a preference, or if you have a preference as to which one should be our designated arbitrator.
Mr. Dumpf, can you still hear us?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, Clerk and Recorder Sahari is inquiring if you have a preference for one of these individuals over the other.
I do not know anything about what your assessor called their qualifications, but it's obvious to me from the receipt of 3 comparables to my property that they were all residential real estate. The tax property in question is a mining claim. It has no access.
Excuse me.
It is not in any way
Mr.
similar to the 3 comps.
Yeah,
that were
Mr. Dump.
provided and
Mr.
received.
Dump.
No, I don't think they're qualified.
Mr. Dump, these are the Assessor Nielsen read off the qualifications that we're required to follow in approving the hearing judges, and so they're not really, are they? And so these 2 individuals that we have been given their resume meet the qualifications that we must follow by statute. So we're asking if you have a preference for which of the 2 you would like to work with. And if you don't know today, you can speak with Clerk and Recorder McCormick at a later time.
Thank you so much for your time. Goodbye.
Thank you, Mr. Dump.
Okay. I do, before we approve the resolution, you gave us a proceedings copy. It says that they're informal hearings. They may be confidential and close to the public if there's mutual agreement. Do you know if the 2 people, the property owners, want them open or closed, or will you
No,
find that out later?
I haven't approached that part.
Okay.
Usually once we receive, the protester needs to pay the arbitrator upfront, and then we will schedule the hearing. And those would be selected as part of the hearing if they wanted it private or confidential, which it would usually be how it would go.
And since this is going to be binding arbitration and decisions are final by definition, so if the landowner's not happy with the outcome, do they have another step, or this
No,
is the final?
this is the final step.
All right, that's good to know. Are there any other questions about the process or the list?
Move to approve resolution 25-107, approving the designation of arbitrators for arbitration of property valuation appeals. Sahari McCormick, Clerk and Recorder.
With the correction noted by?
Yes, I will submit the correction to Kimberly for signatures.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes 3-0. If anyone is wondering if you were reading along on the resolution in our meeting packet, Attorney Messenger stated that we need to change the now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners to the Board of Equalization. So that has been approved and will be changed.
Yes. And also in the very first paragraph, I had initially submitted that real property objections or protests had been refused or denied by the assessor's office, but it's actually the Board of Equalization hearing officer. So that has been revised also.
Right. Okay, now we can move out.
Did we do the vote? I didn't.
Yes.
Okay, I missed
that. Okay.
Not enough coffee yet this morning. So do the commissioners have a preference on arbitrator?
I think Casey Salton has had quite the resume.
I think they both did.
They both-
Do we need to pick one to do both, or can one do one and one do the other?
One can do one can do the other, sure.
Okay.
We could also wait for the protesters to weigh in.
Right.
We approve the list and then select the arbitrator. Yeah.
I suggest one do one and one do the other if they're agreeable.
Okay.
It's $150, right? Wow. And then you can let us know if there's a issue with the landowners selecting one or the
Absolutely.
other. All right.
Absolutely.
Is that okay with you?
That's
One do
fine.
one and one do the other.
Cost is
Okay.
the same.
Do you have anything else for us before we?
No,
Mhm.
this isn't a process that we go through very often, so pardon me for flipping through papers. And
That's
this is only the second time in memory that we have gone to binding arbitration through
Okay.
the Board of Equalization. So
All right, thank you. Now we're ready to adjourn as the Board of Equalization. Just need a motion.
So
See,
go ahead.
I move that we adjourn as the Board of Equalization and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
thank you,
Aye.
Commissioners.
Thank you. The time is now 9:48 and we will move on our agenda. Next, we have Shanda Johnson. Is she online or she's not able to? Okay,
She is online.
just not feeling
Yes.
well.
Yes, let me.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for allowing me to join virtually today. So I wanted to discuss the long-term care. Long-term care has been a benefit paid for by the county for all benefit eligible positions. However, due to rising cost of benefits overall, this morning we're proposing moving this to an optional benefit where the county still offers this benefit that employees can voluntarily opt into and pay the premiums in full. Then those who value this benefit can choose to keep this voluntarily, but the employees who do not choose to keep this benefit, then it would just go away in plan year 2026.
So the only thing I'll add to that is it's fairly unusual for employers to offer long-term care. So this will be more in line with industry standards. And if you recall, commissioners, from a work session we had, I believe, last month, the estimated cost for this is around $30,000, but the utilization rate has been very, very low. So this is why it's coming before you.
Yes, we did discuss this in the work session when we went through all of the county benefits about the rising costs in healthcare and the underutilization of this, as you just explained. So I think we had a pretty thorough conversation in the work session. Are there any questions, comments about this? All right.
So I move to pass resolution 24-109, transition of long-term care insurance coverage from a county paid benefit to an optional employee paid benefit.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that one is completed. The vote to 3-0. Next, we
Thank you.
have, yes, and next I believe that you are still on, Shanda. So
Yes,
Director Thompson, this is the changes to the incentive programs.
yes, thank you. This morning we bring the resolution to pause the hiring and retention incentive program for budget year 2026. The hiring and retention incentive program was implemented to attract and retain staff in safety sensitive positions. This includes positions in facilities for facility maintenance technicians, as well as positions in the sheriff's office, including deputies, dispatchers, detention specialists, and sergeants. The program has been very successful. However, due to budgetary restrictions in 2026, we're proposing pausing this program for budget year 2026, carrying out remaining hiring incentives until the end of this year. The program is currently in Tier 2 and set to move to Tier 3 before the end of the year. As currently written, the program is estimated to cost $596,000 for budget year 2026.
So I have, I don't know if an addition or I understood that our dispatch is 3 people understaffed, and I think was Under Sheriff Demo was requesting that maybe we keep the retention bonuses for the dispatch, as it's it's a very hard job, and right now I think the program worked well for the overall sheriff's department, that we have pretty much full staffed, but the dispatch is currently a problem situation, and I would like to see us maybe keep the retention bonuses or the hiring bonuses for dispatch to help get up to full staffing on there in that difficult job.
Well, and there was also a request from facilities as well to keep just the retention bonuses for that department, to consider that.
I have a question, Shanda. So as I was reading this, I wasn't really quite clear about, there is the December end of year noted. So can you clarify for me, people that were hired this year under the hiring bonus, will they, the way that you're explaining it and the number that you're saying would be saved, does that include honoring the hiring and the 6-month and the 12-month, everything in the system for the people already hired? And then are you looking at suspending it as of January? I personally feel like if someone was hired under the promise of the retention bonus, that we should honor that. So does this number include that? Can you explain more about the transition off of this and how that would work? Thank you.
Yes, and we are currently budgeted for the remaining hiring bonus for this year. And that would be my recommendation. That would have some future possible implications into 2026 if we did hire someone. But it is budgeted for through the end of the year. And my recommendation would be to continue the hiring incentive for anyone who was given that this year, and it may have some slight implications on next year.
So an individual hired will get the 6-month and 1-year incentive. That's included in your numbers. We're not going to stop giving them as of December 31st if they were hired under the program.
So for the hiring incentive, it is payable at 30 days and 6 months. And so my recommendation would be to honor what is advertised and what they accepted the position under.
And this is, and so this number that you've presented, the 596,000 in savings next year, this includes fully paying out everyone that has been hired under this program for the 30 days and the 6 months.
That is the estimated cost for next year, correct, in total for both hiring and retention. And the majority of the payments being made, or the majority of the cost of the program, is for the retention bonuses. So if we honor those who were still being paid the hiring incentive, that would be significantly less than the retention incentive.
And is there still a disclaimer that if they don't fulfill the necessary time of service, that money comes is paid back?
So it is payable when they're hired at 30 days and 6 months. And if they were to leave at 7 months, then that money is not paid back.
Okay.
And that's the hiring.
That's the
Hiring
Yeah.
bonus.
Okay.
So
It's not a
that's,
retention then.
Can you,
Correct.
I thought there was a 1 year threshold that we had approved if someone's there for a year. Am I not remembering that as the hiring or retention? I know we had the referral program as well. Are we, so I guess I have two questions. Is there a 1 year threshold in one of these programs that I thought we had? And then also, are we no longer doing the referral bonus or incentive?
We are still doing the referral incentive, and that is the 1 year threshold where the payments are set at 6 months and a year. But this specifically, what we're talking about today, is the hiring and retention incentives, just because of the costs associated with them in the outlook for next year's budget. This is the most significant expensive program I believe we have as far as incentives, is the hiring and retention incentive program.
I know we're hitting you with these questions today, but do you have the calculation if we were to retain the one position in facilities this applies to, and the dispatch? Because I'm in my 5th year, dispatch has never been fully staffed. And I know that when they dip down to 6, 7, or even 8 staff, that other staff are covering and working a lot of extra. Do you know the numbers if we retain that, or is it pretty, because the overall program includes, as you said already, deputies, detention, sergeants. So if we were to retain the dispatch and the one facility staff person, do you know
So
what that number is?
commissioners, what I would recommend there is the reason why this is coming to you in September is in October is when the third tier would essentially hit. And so then there would be an obligation to start that process of the third tier, which is incredibly expensive. And so by ending it at this point, then there's no obligation or any possible obligation to move forward into the third tier, which is quite expensive. That's why it's coming forward to suspend, because I agree. I think it could be reevaluated and we could look at changes in the overall plan and the payout process and maybe targeting specific positions. So my suggestion there is to add that onto the work session on October 21st. It's pretty light work session. And there could be further discussion of kind of pinpointing a program into that would benefit specific positions of need that the board identifies and staff identifies at that time. We could bring a separate resolution amending it. We just didn't have time to kind of work through adjusting this policy, and given the overall cost of the program and the tighter budget for 26 is why it's coming as a suspension. But I think there is value in reevaluating it and looking at it closer. And so my suggestion is to approve the resolution suspending it, and then we have a discussion October 21st to reevaluate it and have a more in-depth discussion at that point.
I'll just say I don't like that approach myself. I think I'd rather fully understand this and make a more informed decision. I think suspending the tier 3 is something that we could do. But I think I just want reassurance that people that were hired under the promise of this are being paid out. And it's just not clear to me in what we were given.
So that is the case. Anyone hired under the program would be paid out. There's no one that would be harmed by suspending the program as it's proposed. And I believe that's in the resolution language, but I would defer to Director Johnson on that.
Yes, I do believe I put that in there because it's very important to me that we are paying what we're advertising.
It just says all hire incentives earned or committed through December 31st. So if someone was hired now and if they're not completed their 6 months, it'll go into next year.
Well, and all committed incentives will be honored and paid as budgeted.
So if they're hired through that last day in December, keeping our essential promise to them as far as paying that out.
Yeah, and so the way this is it says paid as budgeted, but if you're asking us to cut it for 2026, but they're still here in 2026 and eligible for their 6 months, then it's not worded that way to me. Maybe it is to you.
Well, then we can make sure, or I'm sure it's, that it's budgeted in the 2026.
That's what we don't really have all those numbers exactly. All right, well, I guess my other two commissioners, sometimes I get outvoted on these resolutions, so perhaps that'll happen today. Are you ready to pass this resolution as it is written?
Is that including, well, I don't know, I'm thinking, so we're gonna revisit, so anyone hired at dispatch now is still eligible for a hiring bonus? Am I understanding that?
That is correct.
Okay.
For 2020.
Okay, so this goes to the end of the year, anybody hired will be eligible for a hiring bonus?
Through the end of the year, but
Yeah.
then it ends.
Okay.
As the way it's written.
And have we decided on the I guess that's going to facilities too, okay.
Yeah, and then we can do a work session about the exceptions or what we'd like to do for these
Yeah.
other areas of need.
Okay, all right.
So I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 24-114, suspending the hiring and retention incentive program for the 2026 budget year due to budgetary constraints.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay. Thank you. I do
Thank you.
look forward to the work session for more clarification. I think that'll be clarification for the board and for staff. So thank you. Thanks for your work on this.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
You
Next,
feel better?
yeah, feel better, both of
You're
you.
right.
Next on the agenda, we have the county attorney's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We've got just under a dozen things here under item 1. We've been working a lot on roads. We're actually working with the community development on the new land use code, the designation roads ordinance, amending the community annex contract to allow for construction, non-truck routes, and designation county roads resolution, subcontractor agreement for human services, on-site wastewater treatment stipulation agreement for public health, a road maintenance agreement template, the opioid settlement that was passed on the consent agenda, contract reviews for human resources, ballot issue notice. It's been a busy month. We've also provided legal research and advice relative to litigation and other matters that we'll be talking about in executive session, the Board of Assessment Appeals, road disputes with residents, and water rights matters. And we attended the roads working group to discuss the integration of road engineering standards with the new land use code and also possible new ordinances providing for a remedy for illegally altering a county road. If there are any questions, we're happy to answer them. And we have some things to discuss, I guess, about some code enforcement matters this afternoon.
Are there any questions, comments?
No, thank you.
Right. Thank you, Attorney Messenger. Next, we have the county manager's report, although I hesitate to make you speak more.
No, not a
We do
problem.
have it in front of us. It was included in the packet if you want to minimize speaking.
I appreciate that. Thank you. So the areas I'll highlight is obviously the annex is under construction, good progress there. We are still trying to attempt to finalize a date for the South Beaver Creek 60% town hall at the community center. Staffing and updates. So the finance director, assistant county manager, first round of interviews have been completed. We had a good pool. Three of those are moving on to the second round. Thank you, Commissioner Aiken, for joining in the first round. And then Commissioner Bruman will be joining along with some senior staff in the second round, which will be in a couple weeks. The manager of strategic projects, the position has been offered and accepted. They are starting on October 13th for that. And then we are still attempting to find an office assistant in the manager's office. Attended the library board of trustees meeting, attended the fairground frenzy, had a booth there. It was good to attend and speak to a number of people that I wouldn't normally speak to. Yeah, it was very informative. Attended a AI conference on Friday, learning more that we have a lot of work to do to catch up on AI matters. And then on the work session for October 21st, the sole item at this point is organ donation, which was requested by the coroner. And I would add in the hiring and retention incentive into that. So that will be two items on the work session. And now that the board has the budget, the next meetings are one-on-one with the department heads, common rapid fire on October 7th. And then work sessions with the commissioners to go through the various items on October 9th, 15th, 16th, 22nd. The times are listed in my staff report, and I'll stand for any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions or comment?
No.
No.
No questions. Thank you for your report and all of your work. Next on the agenda, we have our opportunity for public or press comment. There's nobody in the room. Is there anyone online?
No one has raised their hand, Commissioner Hollingsworth.
Right. Always like to give it a second in case someone is having difficulty finding the hand. Okay, then we will move on. Next, we have the Board of County Commissioners reports. This is when we just kind of summarize things we've been working on, and then we'll go to the notice of public meetings. I'll go ahead and start with that. As mentioned, we have the work sessions that were mentioned on Thursday. The public is invited to the Sheriff's Office Community Engagement Meeting at the Community Center at 6:30 to 8. And that's the second one that they're having in the ongoing series of those. So people can come and ask questions of the Sheriff's Office and the Emergency Manager. And then we will be having our October 6th is a holiday for the county. And then, as we're mentioned, we have the budget meetings, October 7th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. And then otherwise, the meetings that we're in are either committee meetings not open to the public or our committees that we're assigned to. Anything else on the upcoming meetings that two or more commissioners may attend? No? Okay. Right, who would like to go first? I can't remember who went last time.
I'll go.
Okay.
So last 2 weeks I had did a Clear Creek watershed seminar and webinar. I attended the SLT meeting. We had a first round of finance directors slash county manager, assistant county manager interviews. I did that on the yesterday and the Monday before that. Then I was at the 911 board meeting where we discussed the need for new dispatchers, and also did a Tabor webinar for an ACC4CA. That was the Tabor webinar. I had comments on the PUC proposals on the clear heat targets with CCAT. And I'm not sure, I guess we all did the steering committee CCI on Friday.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Bruman?
Yeah, I've attended Dr. Cog meeting and went in that reviewed some of the MPO proposals for projects for the different entities. Also attended a Colorado Department of Early Childhood check-in meeting where the CDEC staff let us know and kind of about any of the changes and how some of the federal funding was going to be affecting them and how that would trickle down to our counties. Also attended the Gilpin Ambulance Authority meetings and went over a white paper that was done on septic systems by the graduate students. And also that was attended by Representative Leslie Smith, who will be, again, putting forth legislation regarding that. And I'd forgotten to give it to me, but I'll give you both the electronic copies of the white paper because it's very informative and will lay some good groundwork for that legislation. And then also, I'd hope that County Manager Rears shared with you some information about the Early Childhood Council changes that we've been talking about. I'll get you there again, electronic copies of that as well. With Jefferson County and Clear Creek and myself, the three commissioners, we've done some research into the early childhood councils. And new to all of us, we found out that as the counties, we do have the right to review those contracts on an annual basis. And we've been looking at the contracts and the amount of money that's done, and knowing that the state is going to go through and try to eliminate and look at any redundancies. I think it's important that we do take part in annually reviewing the Early Childhood Council or the LCO contracts. That way we make sure that we hold them accountable for services they should be offering us. It seems like some councils who may have been holding these contracts, they just kept rolling them over. And eventually smaller counties such as Clear Creek and Gilpin, while we did have money in those contracts for us to be sponsoring and have at least part-time representation in terms of staff, we were not getting that. And so I think in annually reviewing and starting this year, reviewing the contracts and reviewing letters of proposals, so we make sure that we have a say in who is holding these contracts, that the services that they should be offering us, that we are getting those. And we've been lacking a lot of infrastructure in our early childhood infrastructure. There are programs and things that we should be offered, and it has not been offered to us. So this way we'll have some, we can make sure and hold and have some, make sure there's accountability in terms of those contracts. So I'll get that information to you. I'd like to, I guess, kind of get a feel if you'd be interested in doing that. And if so, and in this information I'll give to you, it does have kind of a process and a timeline which we can accomplish this. The human services directors for both, let's see, Mary in Jefferson County and Sarah in Clear Creek. And then I also spoke with Janie here in Gilpin regarding this as well. So they're also involved and aware of what we're doing. And I know from what, in speaking with Janie, she was very supportive as well.
That sounds great. I think that parallels what we do in the opioid council. You know, we are more hands-on on who's funded, why, who doesn't get approved. And then they have to submit quarterly reports and submit information to the council so that everyone in the 3 counties knows who's doing what and the benefits to our counties. So it's not just giving out money, but it's actually seeing outcomes. Yeah.
Correct, which is very important, especially since we found ourselves, unfortunately, in a childcare desert, and families with children 0 to 5 are not being served. And then to find that the state was giving money and we were not being offered programming, that's not fair to us. We need to make sure that if anyone's accepting money in our name, that there's accountability for those programs. So I'll make sure and provide you electronically that information so you'll know more of the process and the timeline. And like I said, thanks a lot to Commissioner Marlin, who did some extensive research. So we do have the actual contracts that are being held and, making sure that these changes will benefit our counties.
Yeah, that sounds great. And we did receive a copy of the white paper electronically.
Oh, okay, great. And so you've seen how a lot of work went into that.
Yes.
And that was, I think, a lot of education, which will be great to pass along to other legislators and departments to get support for that.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you. Thanks for all that work. All right, so I will add that that we've attended the 2 counties and commissioners acting together policy meetings on legislative ideas. I was involved in the Veteran Services Officer interviews, and I believe that that's forthcoming. And then it was in a meeting with Jefferson Center Mental Health. We had a reduction in services in Gilpin County, and we were not informed prior to the reductions. And so I called a meeting with the Jefferson Center Mental Health executive director, their staff, and our staff, and Clear Creek County staff to go over the impacts that has had on our residents, how the decisions came to be. And so we're working through some, hopefully, compromise on the staffing and the services to our communities. I think as Commissioner Broom is pointing out, sometimes we have to be extra loud on behalf of Gilpin County because we are a small county and sometimes people think we're not as proactive, but we are elected to be proactive. I attended the First Responders Day, which is always an honor to go and see and value all of our first responders. It was already mentioned, we've been in the midst of CCI steering committees on proposed legislation. No places. We submitted the $2.5 million grant, and we're hoping to hear later, it won't be later this week, by October 3rd or that next week, whether the grant is moving forward. The key things that would be accomplished through that would benefit Gilpin County is setting up an ambassadors program at trailheads and helping to educate the public about safe use preparation, taking their human waste away with them, things like that. And then also unauthorized trails, those have been mapped out in all of the counties, the 6 counties. And so looking at doing. Some of the trails, whether the unauthorized trails need to be closed because some of them encroach on private property, which we do not want. And then realigning some of the trails if necessary. So that would be another project over the next several years. And then increasing capacity. Gilpin County is the only one of the counties with no public land management staff. That's partly why commissioners fill in on the role. So NOCO places would increase capacity through staffing and help assist Gilpin County and Clear Creek County to get some projects done. And that would be really great. There are some specific projects mentioned in the very, very long grant application that was provided to the commissioners as well. So yesterday, there was the opioid council. I think I've talked about that quite a bit in the past, but we've given out a lot of money, and Gilpin County has received much, much, much more by partnering with the 3 counties than if we had received the $1,000 a year on our own. So I appreciate the county attorney's work on the acceptance of further funding to go into the GROC pool. And then I was able to go on a tour of Axton Ranch. So Denver Mountain Parks has acquired that now through the Axton family. And I know that it's been one of those things where the public's curious. So they're not ready to open it to the public. They're working on different plans. But because it includes Forest Service and county boundaries, you know, it could be a while before more access is there, except for we have been working and discussing with Denver Mountain Parks access to specific groups of recreation. So yesterday the discussion was to open it up through a yet to be determined process for programmatic access. And so Gilpin Parks and Recreation youth programs and Jeffco and Denver youth programs and Lincoln Hills could potentially soon be able to bring youth groups up there under supervision of staff. And you tour the property, take a hike, maybe do a little fishing in one of the ponds. But it's lovely, and it was really nice to go on the property and see it. So more information on that will be forthcoming. Anything else? Okay. And next on our agenda, we will move into executive session.
Oh, the CCI.
Oh, next on the agenda, we have the CCI. Okay. That's part of our part. So every year, the Colorado Counties, Inc. is CCI. You'll hear us mention that. Every year, counties can bring forth proposed legislation. And then we have multiple meetings, which are called steering committee meetings. We go through the proposed legislation one by one, and then counties are asked to prioritize 5 to 8 that would be beneficial either for their counties or benefit a greater whole. And we did that prior to our Mountain District meeting. And now we're being asked to appoint a voter for the October 3rd meeting so that one county, one vote is the practice in CCI, so that whoever our voter is will go forward and attend that meeting and vote as needed. In the meeting, the board decision, not their own decision. So we're doing that today. And then we also have a list of the legislation. And so we can go through them really quickly. We've already attended 3 steering committee discussions on them. So I think we're pretty well aware of the ones that we are supporting and not supporting. So it should be pretty quick. We do have a checklist to work off, whether we're saying, yes, we support, no, we don't support, or A, abstain. And there would be some flexibility in case one came to a vote, that the voter would be able to vote Most of them are done by opposition. So in CCI, they'll just say, does anyone not support this? But sometimes they do a poll vote. And so if they put up a poll or you're in the room, you have to vote for your county. So that's what we're doing now. So on the voter, I'm not able to attend that meeting. I have a lengthy NOCO meeting that day. So Commissioner Bruman, Commissioner Aiken, who was interested in being the voter for October 3rd to represent Gilpin County?
I've done it the past 2 years running and very familiar with the process. And I've checked my calendar and I am able to do it.
Sounds good to me.
Great. So probably wouldn't hurt to have an official that you nominate her.
Commissioner Broman to be our designated voter on October 3rd.
All right, and I second that nomination. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank you, Commissioner Bruman. So would it be helpful now if we go through this list so you know?
Yeah, it would be that way. I'll make sure and represent the correct voting for us all.
Do you mind just reading the titles and then we'll?
The first, the stipulation for For-Profit Use Colorado Open Records Act.
And my understanding from the last meeting is that there is a legislator that's planning to run that again, that ran it last year and made some modifications. So that one may not be a CCI promoted legislative bill if it's already covered. Was that your understanding from the last meeting too?
That they had it for support, but I think they still took or wanted to know how we would vote on that. And I would be for that because considering the time and effort it puts on our staff to gather information.
I support it as well.
Yep.
All right.
In the election signature verification process, that promotes having two people help verify.
Is it a bipartisan?
It would be, yes.
Yeah, I was in favor of that.
Okay, yes, as well. And then permitting counties to publish legal notices in non-periodical newspapers when newspapers with periodical permits are unavailable in a subject county.
Yes.
Yes. Doesn't apply to us, but other counties have it.
Right. And there is, some people would like the amendment to even go as far as saying that there's not the need to publish in papers. Protection for elected officials for political violence.
Yes.
I'm actually, I don't know that, I'm kind of in the abstain on that one, but.
I am as well, because a lot of the language is, it's kind of confusing because
we
it
already
brings
have
up.
protections, don't we, in place?
This was to further it to candidates and other people, and that current elected officials can't be threatening towards candidates and each other. So I just feel like it was maybe not quite ready for prime time the way it's written, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Okay,
Yeah.
so abstain. Then the electrical inspector flexibility for small local governments.
I support that one.
I support that.
Yeah, that would make it easier. Opt-in provision for frontier Colorado counties to use a different CPI when determining
I'm sorry.
elected officials.
And it sounded like there were already different avenues to do that.
That's what I do know that a county can set their own salary rates for elected officials.
They can change tiers. Yeah. It has to be, they can't just randomly, but they can choose the lower tier.
Yeah, I think that's a redundant.
Yeah.
So should we just abstain.
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 Okay, sorry, I put the,
I know, that's why I kind of paused. It's like, wait, am I reading the second one? And then update statutory definition of entertainment districts. I know that's really nothing that applies to us particularly.
and I know that measure, so there are other ways to do that, and I would just.
Abstain
Yeah.
or no?
And then the EMS being noted as essential services or essential service personnels. I would support that.
I support that.
Also.
All right.
Rollback in immigration policies from El Paso.
No.
I would say no.
No, I don't support that as written.
And the massage facility background check cleanup proposed.
Yeah, I think for some of the larger counties that made a big difference. I'm neither here nor there on that one. Do you?
Yeah, and we don't license our businesses here, so. Would you prefer an abstention on that? Okay.
Are you okay with that? All right.
Then criminal penalties for sexual exploitation of children.
Yes.
Yes.
State funding availability for emergency management.
Yeah.
Say yes. Proposition 123 reform the AMI flexibility for affordable home ownership. Say yes, that'd be beneficial.
Yes.
Yes.
Again, Proposition 123 corrections.
I know they were talking about maybe combining the two, which is what I would prefer, but
Yeah.
you can see how the discussion goes.
Then granting the excise tax authority.
Favor.
Yes.
Taxation reform, remove the status quo classification of energy facilities. I could see both sides. So
I was almost an abstain from that, but I didn't quite understand the whole.
yeah, to abstain or to see. I know some of those classifications too are changing. Sustainable aviation fuel tax credit.
In favor?
Favorite, I don't see it as one of our top ones, but if you're just supporting others.
Support, yeah, for the few counties that do have their airports. Real estate transfer fee, is there support? Yes.
Support.
Support.
Amending the Board of Adjustment requirements. And there again, I think that was more of a larger county.
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of confusion about their boards,
Right.
I must say. Just want to say abstain or.
Okay.
Okay.
Kind of a neutral. Funding for maintenance of county roads, servicing state parks.
Support.
Support that.
The SNAP benefits one from El Paso. I don't support that because I don't see us really being.
Is this one the one where they wanted that included limiting what they could buy?
Yes, limiting
Oh,
purchase.
No, I don't support that.
Revising the Child Welfare Prevention and Intervention Services Cash Fund.
I was in support of that.
By the directors, right?
I believe it was, yes. Especially now with the some of the cuts having better guidelines to use that. Revisions to the legislative fiscal note process and 5-year look back.
I'm kind of neutral on that one. Do you, either of you
Yeah, I
feel
was-
strongly one way or the other?
I was more neutral on that.
Okay, staying. Then addressing county flexibility in funding.
That one didn't seem, I think there were other avenues to do it as, and not through legislation. That was my take on that one.
Okay. And then County Enforcement Authority regarding ordinances, zoning, building, pest and weed control. And see, that was one too where I felt I wasn't quite sure what they were aiming at with that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, exactly.
But I would give you permission when you hear it again, if you feel like it's something we would support for the greater good, to go ahead and do that.
Okay.
But as of Friday, it wasn't crystal clear.
Right.
The
Yeah, that
outcome.
was something that was one of the language was confusing. And then amendment to the Colorado Resiliency Code. And I think that was just giving more time for smaller counties to adopt it.
Yeah, I would support that.
Okay. Because, yeah, it gave 2 years of a kind of ease in time. Amending the utility condemnation authority.
Yeah, I was supportive of that. It
Support
was,
that.
What is the main outcome of that one? What were they trying to accomplish?
I think they were saying that there was people that had private land were having their eminent domain without process where they could talk about it first.
So
It
the
was being
utilities
done
were-
before the fact that anybody could come to a board and say, well, I want a hearing on this.
Okay, so establishing more of a process.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would support that.
Oh, yeah, that one was talking, because that could really usurp County 1041 powers.
And then eliminating the 35-acre subdivision loophole. And I would support that because a lot of farmland and ranch land is being lost in
Yes,
small.
yeah.
And then the AQCC regulation 30 position. And I had yes on that, but I can't remember exactly why.
This included, let's see, CDPHE solutions are now very expensive. This is,
Oh, the Air Quality Control Commission that some of their statutes for greenhouse gas emissions on local landfills.
It was on the landfill thing, yeah.
yeah, that said there were 51 landfills in Colorado, and it was financially crushing, 3 to 5 million cost. So it was an unfunded mandate. And while people support the greenhouse gas goals, this wasn't a good way to go about it for them, for those counties, but particularly because it's unfunded.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I have to support that.
opposition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then preventing illegal wildlife harvesting.
Supportive of that.
I support that. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Well, that's good.
Great.
So I have my marching orders here.
Okay. Now we're ready to go into executive session. Someone could read that.
Uh-oh.
I try to skip something every meeting now.
And just shorten it up.
Okay. I move to recess to executive session for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions relative to an ongoing litigation matter under CRS
Not coming.
24-6402 4B. And for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and/or instructing negotiators relative to an ongoing litigation matter under CRS 24-6402 4E and I.
Excuse me, did you say recess or adjourn? The intention is adjourning.
Oh,
Sorry, it should say adjourn. Thank you, Madam Chair. My ear.
So we had to
To
adjourn.
adjourn.
We had to adjourn.
Amend it to adjourn.
Yeah, amendment to adjourn also.
And I'll
Yeah.
second the motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. We are now adjourned and it's 10:41. Thank you.